On the night of June 9th, 1995, 6-year-old Morgan Nick stood near the edge of a Little League field in Alma, Arkansas, catching fireflies with two other children. It was a warm summer evening. Her mother, Colleen Nick, was just a few yards away, watching the game and unaware it would be the last time she'd ever see her daughter. The moment was supposed to be brief. Morgan had taken off her shoes and joined the other kids near the parking lot, but when the group returned, she wasn't with them. There had been no scream, no visible struggle, just a sudden, inexplicable silence. What followed was a frantic search in the dark. Police were called almost immediately. Dozens of people had been in the area, yet no one had seen her leave. There was no crime scene, no trail to follow, just a missing child and a growing sense that something unthinkable had happened in plain sight. Morgan had just completed kindergarten. She loved cheerleading, animals, and drawing. She adored her younger siblings. She was small, blonde, and full of life, traits that only deepened the pain of her absence. In the early hours and days that followed, witness accounts began to emerge. One detail would come to dominate the case: a faded red pickup truck with a white camper shell, seen circling the area before and after Morgan vanished. The truck became central to the investigation, the one image that survivors and investigators couldn't shake. Over 3 decades later, Morgan Nick has still never been found, but her story and the details left behind have never been forgotten. Join me for another ride through the strange, odd, and mysterious here at Odd Mystery Stories. Not long after Morgan disappeared, multiple witnesses reported seeing a faded red pickup truck near the ballpark that night. It had a short white camper shell, its windows covered with curtains. The camper didn't sit flush with the cab. There was a noticeable gap. Some remembered oversized tires, and a few said the truck drove off quickly after Morgan vanished. Descriptions of the man seen near the truck varied slightly, but common threads emerged: white male, medium build, facial hair, and possibly a scar above one eye. One witness even recalled seeing him speaking to the children shortly before the game ended, offering to help them empty sand from their shoes. It hadn't seemed suspicious at the time. Looking back, it felt chilling. For years, the red truck remained a persistent lead, but never led to anyone concrete, until a mechanic in Oklahoma came forward nearly 2 years later. He'd seen one of Colleen Nick's flyers and called in a tip. Back in the summer of 1995, he worked on a truck that matched the description: dark red paint, white camper shell, lifted suspension, and worn tires with a zigzag thread. The driver, a tall man with a beard who seemed nervous, paid in cash and left abruptly. His memory aligned with earlier witness reports and helped refine the FBI's composite sketch of the suspect. But it was another incident that gave investigators their first real name: Billy Jack Lincks. Lincks owned a red Ford pickup that closely matched the truck seen in Alma. He had a criminal record and had lived in the region. When police searched his vehicle, they found fibers in the truck bed and a strand of blonde hair inside a vacuum canister. At the time, the evidence was considered circumstantial. There was no way to confirm a link to Morgan with the forensic tools available in 1995. Lincks died in prison in 2000 while serving on an unrelated charge. For years, his name faded into the background until advancements in DNA technology would bring it back to the forefront. For decades, the physical evidence found in Billy Jack Lincks' red pickup truck sat in storage. The fibers, a vacuumed up strand of blonde hair, and the memory of a child who vanished without a trace. Back in 1995, DNA testing was limited. Investigators couldn't prove the fibers or the hair belonged to Morgan Nick, and without stronger evidence, they couldn't move forward. That changed in 2021 when a private lab called Othram re-examined the evidence using a technique known as forensic-grade genome sequencing. The lab specializes in identifying degraded or trace DNA, exactly the kind of material found in long cold cases like Morgan's. The results were clear. Fibers from the bed of Lincks' truck matched Morgan Nick's DNA, confirmed through her mother's profile. For For the first time, authorities had physical evidence placing Morgan in the truck connected to a man long suspected of involvement. The FBI publicly named Lincks a person of interest in her disappearance shortly after the results came back in. Though he had died more than 2 decades earlier, the forensic link gave new direction to a case that had stalled for so long. Still, one critical piece of evidence remains untested: the blonde hair found in the vacuum canister. At the time, it was only confirmed not to be Morgan's, but today's advancements in DNA extraction may allow it to be analyzed without a root, possibly identifying another person connected to the case. That hair could answer one of 2 major questions. Did it belong to another victim, or to someone else who may have witnessed what happened? The science has caught up. Now it's a matter of time, resources, and the will to finish what was started. After Morgan disappeared, Colleen Nick refused to stand still. In the face of unimaginable loss, she built something lasting: the Morgan Nick Foundation. Launched just a year after her daughter vanished, its mission was simple: help families of missing children and prevent future abductions. Her work quickly led to change. In 2001, Arkansas named its Amber Alert system after Morgan, ensuring that the moment a child goes missing, communities are mobilized to respond. Colleen also helped develop programs for kids and partnered with other families of missing children to offer support through peer networks like Team Hope. But her efforts aren't symbolic. Decades later, Colleen still answers calls to the Foundation's 24-hour tip line herself. She trains law enforcement, supports new families in crisis, and keeps Morgan's case alive in the public eye, not as a relic of the past, but as a story still unfolding. Her strength didn't just change the law, it gave other families a voice when they needed it most. Morgan Nick's story has never truly gone quiet. Over 3 decades after she vanished from a Little League field in Alma, Arkansas, her case continues to echo. Through advances in forensic science, through Colleen Nick's unshakable advocacy, and through the simple fact that Morgan has never been found. The red truck, the white camper, the DNA found in its bed, the unanswered questions, it all remains unresolved, resting in the space between what's known and what's missing. But there's one piece of evidence that may still speak: a single blonde hair recovered from Billy Jack Lincks' vacuum canister. It's never been tested with today's tools. If that hair belongs to another child, or to someone who was there, it could be the key to understanding what happened that night. There's still time for the truth to come forward. A $60,000 reward remains active for information that leads to answers, even the smallest detail: a memory, a conversation, a name. It could bring resolution to a case that's defied a generation of searching. If you know anything, contact the Alma Police Department at 479-632-3333 or the Morgan Nick Foundation at 1-877-543-HOPE. As Colleen Nick once said, Morgan may not be with us physically, but she still matters. She still has value, and we will never stop searching for her. The case isn't closed. The door is still open, and someone out there may still hold the answer Morgan's family has waited for over 3 decades to hear. Hey, thanks so much for watching this story. If you're into true crime and odd mysteries like this one, I'd love for you to check out my new e-reading list over at bookshop.com. It's filled with gripping thrillers and mystery books I think you'll love. And if you'd like to support the channel and help keep these stories coming, you can join me on Patreon. Even buying me a virtual cup of coffee makes a huge difference. I truly appreciate your support. You'll find both links right below in the comments section. See you in the next one. Thank you.